Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This video is going to be about the Old Horns public house in Bethnal Green. The Old Horns public house was situated at 68 Warner Place in Bethnal Green, London. It was just off the Hackney Road. It was run by Teddy Berry. He was a friend of the twins. It's said that Ronnie shot Teddy Berry in the leg, and as a sorry present, Ronnie brought Teddy Berry to the pub, but I'm not quite sure about that story. I think that's a bit of a myth. I'm not quite sure how Teddy Berry came to own the Old Horns or be the landlord. The Old Horns has had a couple of names since it was called the Old Horns. It's also been called Warner's, and it's also been called the Jeremiah Bullfrog. One of the more famous incidents to happen at the Old Horns involved Billy and Ronald Webb and the twins. Billy and Ronald Webb were quite long time, you could call them friends I suppose, of the Krays. They had known each other since the Royal Dance Hall in Tottenham, where they used to frequent when they were teenagers in their younger years. I think there was a bit of trouble with Rita Smith, the Krays' cousin, where she was insulted by Billy Webb, and Billy Webb was made to apologise to her in front of people. So I think there has always been a little bit of animosity between the Webbs and the Krays. I think Ronnie was a bit jealous also of the Webb brothers making quite a bit of money, because at this time when the meeting was due at the Old Horns, the Webbs were involved in the protection of a gun and pornography smuggler, and it was quite lucrative for them, and they were earning quite a bit of money. So, and I think Ronnie, when he hears about people getting more money than he does, I think he didn't like it that much. I'm not sure exactly what the finances of the twins were in 1968, but I'm sure a lot of things dried up. Leslie Payne had left, so all the frauds are gone. They might have still been in the West End a little bit. They had the Regency over in Stoke Newington. They had the nipping going on. They had little bits and pieces, I think, floating about. I don't think they were as flush as they were in previous years. So I think Ronnie was wanting to meet the Webbs to maybe discuss again them coming in onto whatever they've got going on and having a bit of the action, you know. Ronnie got his meeting with the Webbs on the 18th of April 1968. I think he had maybe tried to meet them a couple of times before, but I think they was always refused by the Webbs. They didn't want to really go and meet them. But plenty of the firm were there that day. Scotch Jack Dixon, Albert Donahue, Tommy Cowley, Sammy Lederman, Lambriano brothers. Quite a mixture of the firm hanging about. It started off quite friendly. They were talking about the Webb's business. They talked about the Richardson torture trial that had happened previously and the sentences they got. Then out of the blue, Ronnie went to hit Billy Webb, and Billy Webb retaliated, which sparked a fight. All hell broke loose. There was the use of chairs, bottles. There were some companions with the Webbs, but they were told not to get involved by Reggie. Reggie said he would blow their heads off. Various members of the firm joined in, including Nicky Lambriano, who was the brother of Tony Lambriano and Chris Lambriano. Tommy Cowley joined in. Reggie wasn't involved in the fighting at all. Tommy Cowley tried to stab Billy Webb, but he was beaten back with a stool. It's probably a scene of madness, I can imagine. It was bottles kicking, glasses being chucked. I should think anything they could get their hands on was being thrown at the Webbs, and they slowly inched their way to the exit, and coming under a hail of glasses and punches, they did manage to get away from the Old Horns, and they went to the Hackney Hospital, where they were seen by Dr. Mary Murphy. She said, "On examination, I found that William Webb had a laceration of the right eyebrow and a laceration on the forehead just inside the hairline, and lacerations to the top of the skull, and a laceration on the left ring finger. An examination of Ronald Webb, I found he had lacerations on the top of his head and a black eye, and also blood in his eye. He also had fragments of glass in his hair. He was x-rayed but refused further treatment. In my opinion, the lacerations caused to these two men were probably caused by blunt instrument and most likely fists." So that was the Battle of the Old Horns between the Webb brothers and the Krays. That was kind of the end of it. I suppose a little bit to add on to this was that years later, Billy Webb claimed that he went to Broadmoor and he punched Ronnie Kray. I don't know how true that is. I think he mentions it in his book, Running with the Krays, but I haven't read that book, so I can't really comment on that. Another thing about the Old Horns, it's where that John Pearson actually met the twins quite frequently while he was researching his book, The Profession of Violence. He went there many evenings, I believe, in 1967 and 1968. He's also David Bailey visited the Old Horns, where he took pictures in there. One with a woman sat at a table drinking. There was one with David Bailey and John Pearson and the Berry brothers also. That was taken by somebody. So the twins were quite active in the Old Horns from 67 until their arrest in 1968. I think actually John Pearson witnessed Ronnie Kray glass somebody. That was according to Tony Lambriano. I think he mentions that in the book that he done with Freddie Foreman. Villains Talking or something, I think it's called. I'm not quite sure. Tony Lambriano also mentions that when people were given a kicking in the Old Horns, they were dumped in the alleyway opposite. And so here's the alleyway that's opposite the Old Horns. And yeah, I think that's about all I can say about the Old Horns, really. It was very active by the Krays in 67 and 68. The pub closed in 1997. The building's still there. It's now a school. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you for watching this video, and I will catch you again in the next one. Thank you.